Hi there, this is Art and Such with part 1 of my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm making two major changes in this video. One is that we're going to have thicker legs, so they'll be a little more even. And I'm also using white pearl beads with the pupil drawn on for the eyes instead of the black beads I used in this first one. You also have the option of using bands. For the upper body and the head, I'm using gray, and for the legs, I've got brown for the pants, and the shoes are black. We're going to start with the arm, and I have one ready. I'll make one with you and then get you to pause and repeat. So on your loom, the offset position with the middle row raised above the side, you'll start with 6 sets of double bands, 2 bands, coming down the left, and you'll come down the center from the second peg to the third peg with 1 set of double bands, and the third to the fourth with another set. We're going to connect these two sections by taking a single, doubling it over on itself, and stretching it across from the third center to the second and the third on the left. To cap this off, finish it off, we're going to make his hand, and it's going to be really thick, so we need 3 bands. You'll take them together, add a little tension, wrap them 2 or 3 times on your hook, and then pull these onto 2 single grays. So 2 bands, put them at the end of your hook, and pull your wrapped bands on top. Just close it up, and this can go onto the bottommost peg here, your 7th peg down. We're going to loop up, pull back that hand, take the bottom 2, bring them up and over the peg above. And do this 2 more times. And from here we're going to come to the side. So from your 4th left to your 4th center. And then come up twice on the side. And finish going up on your left. Push back your triangle as you get those bottom 2. And this can all be slipped right onto your hook, so put your hook through the bands on the center peg at the top, and then the bands on the left at the top. This can go onto your hook for now. And we're going to start on the body. So for our neck, we're putting 3 gray bands. And we'll come down sideways using 3 or 4. I'm going to use 3 this time. You can use 4 if you want it to be a little more muscular. From the second center to the second on the right. And another 3 or 4 coming down to, oops, I did put 4, to the left side. We'll come down the side with 2 sets of 3 bands. So 3 from your 2nd to your 3rd, 3 from your 3rd to your 4th, and repeat that on the other side. This is to give him a little bit of extra bulk. And we'll come down with 2, and we'll come down with 2 on the other side, 2 bands. For the center, we're just going to come straight down with doubles, with double bands. We'll do that 3 times. I'm just going to double check this for you really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. And then we'll switch to brown in the center. And we'll put 1 more set of gray on the side, just double bands. This takes you to your 6th peg down on either side, and your 6th peg in the center. Then we're going to brown. We'll do 2 sets of double brown on the center, from that center 6th to the center 7th, and from the center 7th to the center 8th. And we'll come down either side with double brown bands. This goes 4 times. Once we want to leave some room for our boots. You should have 3 pegs left at the bottom after this. We're gonna go on the other side and come down 4 times with double browns. And we're switching to black now. We'll do right to the bottom of the loom, so that's 3 sets of double black. And then we'll be needing some boots, and for our boots we're taking, we'll do 2 blacks, wrap them 3 times onto the hook, pull that onto double black bands. I'm using Kate Schultz's shoe design again here. And we're going to do this one more time. Take 2 bands, wrap them 3 times, and pull that onto 2 more bands. And this time we are not going to put the other end back. We're going to leave it loose like this. And we're going to look at our first set of black, pull the first 2 over, and now you're going to have a space on this side and a space here. You're going to put your finger through this space and pull it off the hook. Twist your fingers around and get the other side on top. Then you're going to take those bottom 2 and pull them over. And this can go right onto the bottom of your foot, right at the end of your loom. We're going to do this again for the other side. If you want this to be thicker, you can even use 3 pieces at a time, but I'm going to stick with 2. 2 bands, wrapped 3 times, pulled onto 2 single black bands. And we'll do this again in 1 second. This doesn't want to go. Okay, switch hands here. There we are. And again for the other side. 2 bands, wrapped 3 times, pulled onto double bands. Put this first end over. Put your finger through those loops closer to the hook and switch them around. And bottom one over. We're almost done our feet. Here we go. And this goes on the bottom of our other foot. We're going to put some holding bands next. So let's start at the bottom here with a couple of browns. A single brown. We're going to double it over onto itself and put it right across here. And this is going from that last peg that had brown in the center, down 1 to either side in a triangle formation. We're going to pull it up over the middle here. The rest of our holding bands are going to be single triangles. So starting just above, stretch it across, and another brown, and then we're switching to gray. We'll have 3 gray triangles. Come across from one side to the other and get pulled over the center band above. We can add our arms. We're going to put all of the, or half of the bands, on the second peg down and half on the third peg down on the side. You can put this under your cap band if it's more comfortable, but it should be alright either way. And if it looks a little loose, don't worry, because it will get tighter and closer together when we have loomed this up. Alright, we are ready to loop. We're going to loop up. You can really pick any side or center. I'm going to start on the side this time. Push back the foot, get the bottom 2 blacks, and bring them up. And those of you who are familiar with this format, it's a pretty straightforward looming. We're not doing anything special. We're just coming straight up and bringing our shoulder pieces in. When you get to your cap bands, make sure you push them back, and then get the bands from underneath. And once you've got your sides up, we're just coming up the middle and finishing the middle section to the top center. Now when you come to the arms here, you're only looking for the bottom 2 bands. You're going to leave all the rest of the arm pieces where they are. And here we want these top 2 from the center. Sorry, top 3. And some of you might have made it thicker with the 4. The rest of these were generally only getting 2 at a time. But I can see I've missed one here, so just fix that. If you miss 1 out of 3 bands, it should still hold okay, but you will have an extra loose floppy band there that you'll have to cut out or take out, which is kind of a waste and a pain. I'm back at the bottom and coming up my other side. And very same thing, just loop straight up, and if you have holding bands, which you should, you are gonna get your hook underneath and dig under and get the bottom 2 only. And some places you might find it's easier to turn your loom around or adjust it a little bit so you can see better. I'm gonna turn it sideways for this next piece actually, because again I just want those 3 that are coming from the center. It can be a little bit tricky, and you can see some of my bands are wanting to come loose. Just make sure you've got the ones that you need before the others release. Let's come up the center. It's going to be a little loose at the bottom here. Just keep going straight up. There shouldn't be anything much in your way here until you get to your second peg from the top where your neck is. And then we're reaching down for those those bottom 3 bands, which were the first that we placed on. I want to check that I have all of mine. You can put your hook through the bands on your top peg, loosen up some tight areas, and remove this from your loom. We should have just enough time that I can show you how to make the eyes before we finish this first part here. So here is your body. If you have loose bands, you can adjust them now or later, and you can leave this on your hook or put it to the side, put it on a holding hook. For the belt, if you'd like a belt, you can take 1 or 2 black bands and twist them around the center. Oh, I completely forgot to thicken up our legs. Well, alright, that's alright. He'll look more muscular on top then. If you were still interested in making the legs thicker, wanted to undo the looming, you could, or even do this again later, you can take an extension, making a chain with double bands and then add that to the side. But I think it looks kind of cool just as it is. We are going to make our eyes. If you are using bands, and the color choice is up to you, you'll take a single, wrap it 3 times, another single, wrap it 3 times, and put it onto a gray band, as that is the color of the face. And when we put this onto the face, you'll be doing the exact same thing as we would with the beads. So you can imagine these are your beads. It will be all the same. If you were using beads like myself, you might have one with a larger hole which can be put onto your hook and slid off. Or if you have beads with the smaller hole, you can take dental floss or a pipe cleaner, twist tie, like a thin wire. Put it through your beads. Put it through your band. And then come right back through your beads, and it should slide on if your hole is large enough. I have my eyes drawn on now, but you can do them afterwards with a Sharpie. And just even them out, put this aside. I will see you back for part 2.